Radhe. Jaya Gauranita, 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 Jaya Gauranita. Ita Gauraribo, Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Kalipanana Sankirtan ki, Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samved Bhaktunda ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishnaya Vasudevaya. Devaki Nandanaya Cha. Nandagopa Kumaraya. Govindaya Namo Namaha. So Hare Krishna, this evening we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18, verse number 61. The title of the chapter is The Perfection of Renunciation. Ishvaraha sarvabhutanam hriddeshu arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudani mayaya. Ishvara sarvabhutanam हृद्देषु अर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया. ईश्वर सर्वभूतानां हृद्देषु अर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयान् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया. ईश्वर सर्वभूतानां तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया. ईश्वर सर्वभूतानां हृद्देषु अर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया. ईश्वर सर्वभूतानां हृद्देषु अर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि. Ishvaraha, the Supreme Lord, Sarvabhutanam, of all living entities. Hriddeshu, Hriddeshe, in the location of the heart. Arjuna, O Arjuna, Tishtati, resides. Brahmayan, causing to travel. Sarvabhutani, all living entities. yantra on a machine, arudhani being placed, maya under the spell of material energy. Translation purported by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki. The Supreme Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. Purport. Arjuna was not the supreme knower, and his decision to fight or not to fight was confined to his limited discretion. Lord Krishna instructed that the individual is not all in all. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, or He Himself, Krishna, as the localized super soul, sits in the heart, directing the living being. After changing bodies, the living entity forgets his past deeds. But the super soul, as the knower of the past, present, and future, remains the witness of all his activities. Therefore, all the activities of living entities are directed by this super soul. The living entity gets what he deserves and is carried by the material body, which is created in the material energy under the direction of the super soul. As soon as the living entity is placed in a particular type of body, he has to work under the spell of that bodily situation. A person seated in a high speed motor car goes faster than one seated in a slower car, though the living entities, the drivers may be same. Similarly, by the order of the Supreme Soul, material nature fashions a particular type of body to a particular type of living entity, so that he may work according to his past desires. The living entity is not independent. One should not think himself independent. The Supreme Person of Godhead, the individual is always under the Lord's control. Therefore, one's duty is to surrender, and that is the injunction of the next verse. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Priyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Saha Gana Raghunathan Vitam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेव श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सह गणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च जय श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So here Krishna explains the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. So this is a very important verse. In one sense, what we see here, how Krishna is explaining that he is an ultimate controller. Today's world, what we are seeing, that we are looking for more and more AI. People are going through AI. What they think in the future, AI will do everything for mankind. This is a grossest stupidity of mankind. So we should understand here the ultimate controller, what Krishna explains. Actually, first here it comes Ishwara. All of you know what is the definition of Ishwara means, a controller of everyone. Prabhupada has given so many examples of Ishwara. There is one Upanishad called Shweta Shatar Upanishad, in which it is mentioned that Krishna is the controller of all controllers. Then also the definition of Ishwar is guide, maintainer of all, well-wisher. So this way, in Bhagavad Gita, if we see in the 10th chapter, there are four verses. It's called Chatushloki Gita, 10.10. Anyone knows what is the verse? तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं येन माम् उपयान्ति ते. So those who are surrendered to the Lord, like today's world, if you want to go someplace, you have this GPS uh, guiding you. Wherever you want to go, you have to just put the GPS from the destination. So it will tell you left, right. Also now they have that missiles. Now there's a war going on. So these missiles, they are guided by these satellites, longitude, latitude, and they exactly land uh, to the place where they are supposed to, and completely devastate that place. So here, what we see, Krishna in Prabhupada writes in the purport that Krishna is the knower of past, present, and future. So Bhagavad Gita 7.26, nice verse is there. Krishna explains, Vedaham samatitani vartmanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kashyana. Krishna explains that as Supreme Person of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past and that is happening in the present, and all things are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me no one knows. So here, what we can understand, yes, Krishna knows our all past life, what is going to happen also in the future. So he's called Sarvagya. Sarvagya means knower of everything, past, present, future. So in today's world, many people they are predicting so many things about next what is going to happen. So many things are predicted in the media, but we should know that Krishna is the ultimate knower. Also, 15.15 Krishna explains Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam cha. So we should understand from Krishna knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. It comes from Krishna. So now Prabhupada further explains in the purport that how a living entity, his body is designed according to his desires. Like in the bygone days before Henry Ford in America, they used to make cars. So those cars, they were custom made cars, like as told by the owner who want to buy a car, he, what kind of car he wants, with a kitchen or toilet, bathroom like that, custom design. So similarly, material nature is our mother, and material nature, she will design the body according to our thoughts because we are always covered by this material nature. The entire 14 planetary system, this material nature is very active. Uh, so, Bhagavad Gita 13:22, anyone knows what is the verse exactly? Karanam guna sangasya sad asad yonisu janmasu. Karanam guna sangasya means our association will, and from our association we can understand the destiny. So Bhagavad Gita also there is mention transmigration in the 15th chapter. In two verses, Krishna explains very sweetly how a living entity changes his body. So 15.8 and 9, Krishna explains, Shariram yad apnoti yaschapya urkramaha grihatvaitani samyati vayur gandham ivasayat. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. Thus, he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. So further, Krishna explains that Trotram chakshusha sparshanam cha rasanam grihanam evacha adhistaya manaschayam vishayan upasevate. So Krishna explains the living entity thus taking another gross body obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. So now, as I told, like once, like in many hotels, when you go, you are first given with the menu card and you flip through the menu card and you see that breakfast, lunch, dinner, al carta, whatever it is. So whatever you order, according to your order, whatever order he takes, so that food will be delivered to you. Okay, soon after some time, whatever it is. So here also, what we Krishna explains that in material nature, Prabhupada gives examples. of a hog, one who eats throughout the day. It's like a hog. So if one conditioned to eat throughout the day, the material nature will tell, okay, take the body of a hog. So if one wants to eat meat. So today anyone knows what is the biggest cause of cancer? Why people are dying from cancer? What is the biggest cause? Why animals they don't have cancer? Why mankind has more cancer? Today's number one death is cancer. Can anyone tell why? No, mankind they eat meat, cooked meat. So when you cook the meat, it becomes carcinogenic. So India even got independence in 47. 75% people were vegans. Now 75% people are non-vegans. They are in a whatever it is, carnivores. So whatever it is. So we can understand the animals. They why don't they get cancer? Because they are living with the nature. Actually, they are living with the nature. Except mankind. If you see in today's world, except mankind in the material world, all the living entities they follow all the rules of material nature. That we should understand. Why mankind only mankind is suffering more because we are not following the nature. What nature is giving us, or what we are destined to follow. Ya nisha sarvabhutanam tasyaham jagriti sanyami. Krishna in second chapter explains that which is day for the saintly persons is the time for sleeping the demoniac, and the time for the demonic to be awake is the time for the saintly person to sleep. This is what you see in big cities. On the airports, they are running 24 hours. There are hotels, they are open until midnight, until 2 o'clock in the morning. So that is not ideal time for person to eat. So the material nature, Prabhupada gives another example, beer. If one is sleeping too much, then material nature will say, okay, take the body of a beer. Then Prabhupada also explains like modern world, they design so many cloths, fashion designers, they are putting less and less cloth. Okay. So Prabhupada explains if one puts less cloth, then material nature will say, okay, then you become tree. You need not to wear clothes. So this way, material nature is very strict. So in the Bhagavatam, Kapil Dev he explains to his mother Dehavati, Karmana Daivi Netrena Jantur Deha Upapadyate. So also there is a similar verse. This verse we are reading today. There is one similar verse in Bhagavad Gita 10.20 where Krishna explains, Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarvbhutasya Sthita. Aham Adishya Madhyam Cha Bhutanam Antayevacha. Krishna explains that I am the super soul, or Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all living entities. Prabhupada quotes one Upanishad, Subal Upanishad. Prakritya Adi Sarva Bhutanam Yam Sarva Sha Narayana. That means the Supreme Personality of God is existing as the super soul in all the manifested universes, not in this one universe. So, material world, what we see today, what we feel is we are advancing more with technology and other things, but it is paradise. So, Bhagavad Gita, as I told you before, 13.22, Purusha Prakritstosti, Bhunkte Prakritir Jarguna, Karanam Guna Sangasya, Sad Asad Yonisu Janmasu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. So, especially we see in human society, there are so many organizations, associations. There is a saying that the birds of same feather flock together. So modern mankind also they are trying to have so many kinds of association. In America, there is one association, Triple A, Alcoholic Anonymous Association. So what they say, if you want to give up this drinking wine, so you should not associate with drunkards. So material world, what we see, what is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, it applies in all walks of life. And also, Krishna explains the material world. There are two kinds of living entities. Dvaima Purusho Loke, Kshara, Kshara Evacha. So, in material world, mainly the living entities, they are trying to prove that yes, their God is supreme, and this way, blind following the blind. That is what is happening. But we should understand Bhagavad Gita, Krishna 15.7. He explains, Mamay amsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatan. Manashastani indriyani prakristani karshati. So the five bodily senses and the mind. Mind actually is a controller. So the mind is getting done more, many of our activities. So mana eva manushanam karana bandha mokshe. So mind is the cause of liberation. Mind is the cause of uh, getting entangled in this material world. So we have to be very careful about the mind. So Kapil Dev, I told you that he explains to his mother, Karmana Daivi Netrina Jantur Deha Upabadyate Striya Pravista Udram Pumso Reta Kanakshaya. So what he explains that under the supervision of Supreme Lord and according to the result of his work, the living entity, the soul is made to enter into a womb of a woman through the particle of a male semen to assume a particular type of body. So material world, wherever you go, you'll find three types of things: first class, second class, third class. Especially you'll find in Indian railways, general class, second class, first class. Also, I heard in the prisons, if we go to prison also, there is a third class, second class, and first class prison. So material world, ultimately, we are in the prison. We should know that we have to come out of this prison. So because here this verse Krishna explains that our body is like a machine. Our body is like machine because our as per Sankhya Yoga, our body is made of 24 elements. Our body is made of 24 elements. So we should know as long as the Paramatma is there, and as long as the prana vayu is there in the body is breathing, it is living. There is a symptoms of chetana, consciousness. So the moment the soul is gone, super soul and soul, they are both sitting together. So once the Paramatma leaves the body, then Jivatma also will leave. And according to his destiny, how he has lived his life, so that will decide his destiny. So here Kapil Dev explains to his mother, Karmana Daivi Netrena. Nowadays you'll find throughout the world they have CCTVs. Some institutions they have 100, 200 CCTVs. I don't know how they manage. So in material nature, the Lord also has put CCTVs. There are, anyone knows how many witnesses are there as per Bhagavatam in the material nature? How many witnesses are there of the Lord? There are 13 witnesses mentioned: daytime the sun, nighttime moon, four directions, earth, then that fire, then Paramatma, Jivatma, Yamraji. So basically, Krishna has given this thing to Yamraj to just check what the living entities they are doing. So ultimately, what happens when the time comes for a person to leave the body? So the Yamdutas they come and the living entity is taken to Yamraj. So their Chitra Gupta, he will tell Yamrajji our pros and cons, good and bad account. So Chitragupta will place to Yamrajji. We see King Mriga, although he and it donated practically, there is a mention that as many uh, what do you say particles of dust are there on this earth, that many number of cows he distributed, whatever it is. But still he had to go to Yamraj. Okay. So material nature, we should understand it is very strict. It's like a mother. So a mother, she takes care of the child. Also, she gives a good beating. Krishna explains that Daivi Esha Gunamayi Mamamaya Durattaya. mameva prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. So if we work under the guidance of the Supreme Lord, so Prabhupada explains in the purport that material nature will provide body, different types of body. Many places Prabhupada has quoted Shvetashvatar Upanishad and Padma Puran. There's one nice verse in which 84 lakh species are mentioned. Jalaja Nav Lakshani Savar Laksha Vimsati Kramayo Rudra Sankyaya Pakshinam Dashalakshanam Trimsal Lakshani Pashava Chatur Lakshani Manava. So here exact number is given, and today if you ask someone, especially those who are what you call, they are looking for this material nature. What you, how you define the person who is studying the animal, this material nature? Anthropologist, what you call them? No one knows. Those who study this, especially they go to the African safari and they study the lifestyle of all the wild animals. What they are called? Geologist, whatever it is. So for them here, there is an exact figure given. So Jalaja Navalakshani, in the ocean, there are 9 lakh species of life. Then Stavar Lakshvimshati, that means there are 90 lakh, sorry, 9 lakh species of life. There are trees and plants. Krumayo Rudra Sankyaya, 20 lakh species of insects. Then 11 lakh species insects and reptiles. Then Trimisal Pashuva, Chatur Lakshani Manava, that 30 lakh species beasts and 4 lakh species of human. So material nature, this way, altogether, there is a mention of 84 lakh species of life. And Prabhupada explains that yes, the Lord is seated in all species, either it is moving stavara or jangama. Prabhupada gives the example that a car, some cars they are moving fast, some they are moving slow. So both cars they have driver. So now it depends upon the this thing, consciousness of the living entity, how he is elevating himself from this material nature. So in the Bhagavatam, there is a story of King Chitraketu. So when King Chitraketu he lost his son, so the complete kingdom was lamenting. So what happened there? Angira Muni he brought Narad Muni, and Narad Muni somehow he brought this child back to life, and he told the child, "Okay, tell what is your past life." So that what the child he said, according to results of my fruitive activities, I, the living entity, transmigrate from one body to another, sometimes going to the species of demigods, sometimes to the species of lower animals, sometimes among the vegetables, and sometimes to the human species. Therefore, in which birth were these my mother and father? No one is actually my mother and father. How can I accept these two people as my parents? So now this child is questioning, how can I accept them? Also in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, there was one devotee by name Sarang Thakur. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu often he told him he should accept someone as his disciple. But somehow he was denying. So one day what happened, in Bengal there is a custom, if the children and a tender age children, if they die, they throw them in the Ganges. So what happened in one family, one child was bitten by a snake, and this child was thrown in the Ganges. And what happened next day when Sarang Thakur he was bathing in the Ganges, this dead body touched Sarang Thakur, and this child got revived. So what happened? He took him to his ashram. Some of his parents they came to know that our child has come back to life. So they came to take the child. So now this child became completely self-realized. He said, "Yes, I was dead, and you threw me in the Ganges. Now I am no more your child. So this person has brought back me to life. He's my real father." So also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he revived the son of Srivas Thakur. Chaitanya Bhagavat, what we see. So the Lord, He can do as per our will. In material world, there is a saying: man man proposes and God disposes. There is a nice saying, material world. So man proposes means he desires so many things. So today, especially the scientists, they explain that every day we have 50 to 1 lakh thoughts in our mind. Our mind generates 50,000 to 1 lakh thoughts in a day when we are awake till the time we go to bed. So you can imagine. So anyone knows how much mind we use on an average? Anyone IQ reader here? How much mind we use total of 100%? How much mind do we use average? What was the IQ of Einstein? Anyone knows? Okay. How much mind we use in a day? How much percentage wise? When you use your computer, so many different these things are going on, work, multitasking. So your CPU will show how much energy is used by different whatever your websites. So we are using just 1%, maximum 2% mind we use in material nature. That's what the scientists they explain. So here it is explained how the living entity transmigrates. Brahmayan. Brahmayan means evam chakra pravartitam. Bhagavad Gita Krishna explains this material nature is set into motion. Like when the satellites they are launched, so from the ground control station, they fix the speed of the satellite. Okay, how much any rotations it should take of the Earth in 24 hours. So when this put satellites they are put in the geostationary orbit. So here from the bottom, everything is fixed. So similarly, although the Lord is accompanying the living entity, the Lord doesn't incur the karma. The Lord doesn't incur the karma of the living entity. Like if you go to a big cities, so if you hire a taxi and wherever you want to go, the taxi driver will take you, okay, for a jolly ride, but you have to pay for the karma or whatever you eat, enjoy. So you have to, in the end, you have to pay the taxi driver the wholesale amount, whatever the bill comes. So similarly, the Paramatma, as long as we are tuned with the Lord, as long we are uh, going with the Lord, then our journey is safe. There is one nice saying that there is one analogy given: Ganga and Gangodhyana. Gangodhyana means it is explained that when in the rainy season Ganges flows, so Ganges flows over so many pits, big holes. So what happens when the Ganges, the this thing is, the current is low, so Ganges flows in one direction, and whatever the ponds they were filled with the Ganges water, so gradually they start getting different kind of disease in that pond. Similar, the living entity, Krishna Bhuli Jeev Anadi Bhahirmukh. Bhahirmukh means when you turn away from Krishna. Atayo Maya De Sansar Dukh. So as long as these water bodies they are separated from the Ganges, so they get contaminated completely. So similarly, the living entity, so when he's away from the Lord, so he get contaminated by these three modes of material nature. So here it is mentioned that again, when again the Ganges rainy season flows over those ponds back again, so again they become pure as good as the Ganges. So the understanding is that as long as in the material nature one wants to follow my and his own way of life, my way or highway, sometimes we say. So in modern world, everything is iPad, iPhone, iPill, so many things they have given the name by I. So as long as we are on this I going on, so we'll be troubled by the material nature. Shankaracharya explains, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Janani Jatre Shainam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate. So, this is happening since time immemorial. No one knows, uh, no one knows the exact date when the living entity got separated from the Supreme Lord. So if one comes to the understanding, yes, now I have to follow the rules and regulations. Like if you want to travel by the railway or airlines, so you have to follow the these things, rules and regulations laid by the railways or the airlines. Once you are airborne, you can't change your destination. So similarly, in the railways also, the railway will go the way the tracks are laid down. The railway will not go as per our own whims. Similarly, the living entity, as long as he wants to boss with in this material nature, so the material nature will give us different species of life as per our desire, and there is no end to it. So when the Brahma's day will come, we get manifest. When Brahma's night comes, we go into hibernation. So this is what is happening since time immemorial in the material world. Also, Krishna explains, "A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravrtuna Arjuna Mam Upetayatu Kaunteya Punarjanma Na Vidyate." So as long as we are in the material world, so there will be always birth, death, old age, disease. Jatasya hi dhrur mrityu. So this is happening to all the living entities. And Bahunam Janamnam Ante, Krishna explains, Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate, Vasudevam Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So after many, many births, when one comes to know that Krishna is the cause of all causes, then one comes to the right path. So we'll now just try to go through the our Acharya's commentary. So Baldev Vidyabhushan, he explains, though you think that your knowledge is your own, you know that only through the Supreme Lord as the Antaryami, one who is seated in the heart. The Lord is seated in hearts of all living entities from Brahma down to the non-moving creatures. He makes them wander about by his Shakti, Maya. He describes these living entities. They are mounted on a apparatus characterized by body, senses, prana, yantra, rudani, constructed by Maya according to their karmas. A comparison is suggested using the ornament called rupaka, metaphor. The Lord makes the living entity to move about just like a puppeteer mounts artificial beings on a wooden device with strings attached to yantra or rudhani and make them move about. So in India, in olden time, so there used to be puppet shows, especially during Dasera. Now also in Rajasthan, if you go, Jaipur and all, they have the puppets with sound and with action drama. So the person he's doing with his finger. So similarly here, what we should know that material nature, we are like puppet. Prabhupada also in one of his song, Markine Bhagavad Dharma. Nachao, Nachao, Prabhu, Nachao se mate. Prabhupada explains, so you have brought me to this Western world, so they don't know anything about the spirituality. So now you can make me dance as you like. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he quotes Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. He explains, Narayana is spread everywhere, inside and outside of everything, seen or heard of in all universes. And also he explains from Mahanarayan Upanishad, he explains that Shrutis, the Lord is situated in the heart. What does he do? By his own Shakti, Maya, he makes all living entities in their respective actions. Brahmayan, the living entities like artificial dolls attached to a device with strings are made to move by Maya. Or another meaning is all the living entities mounted in their bodies are made to Maya, to move by Maya. So similarly, here Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur also gives the similar analogy. Like uh, today, what we see in material world, uh, many countries they have the presidents, and what they think is they are the doer of everything. But when the time is right, Prabhupada explains the Krishna's energy, Kala Shakti. So when time comes, Prabhupada explains, it will kick on the face of that living entity and it will tell, okay, get lost. Your time is over. So material world, we should know that whatever yantra, body we are given with, it has a limited time. So in all species of life, the time is the controller of the material nature. The material nature is acting under the control of time. Also in Bhagavad Gita 11.32, Krishna explains, Kalosmi loke chayakrut pravruddho. So Krishna explains to Arjuna that I have come here in the form of time. And Krishna, he showed Arjuna the devouring form. Within the Vishrupa, Arjuna saw the Kala Rupa, and in which he saw that all these Maharathis like Bhishma, Karna, Drona, Duryodhan, so they were going in the mouth of this Kala Rupa. So Arjuna, Krishna told, uh, just act nimitta matra bhavasya vyasachi. Nimitta matra means just become a puppet. Puppet means as Krishna is guiding. So here also, in one sense, Arjuna, although he was a charioteer, Krishna is running the chariot. So we should understand that yes, Arjuna, he said in the 18th chapter, Krishna, Arjuna explains, yes, now my illusion is gone. And he explains, I'll act as per your desires. So similarly, material nature, if all the living entities, if they act as per the desire of the Lord, then Prabhupada here in the end, he explains very nicely that nobody is independent. This we can understand. The living entity is not independent. One should not think himself independent of the Supreme Personal Godhead. The individual always under the Lord's control. Therefore, one's duty is to surrender. And that is the injunction of the next verse. So, unless one surrenders, so the Lord will not act. Unless one surrenders as per the desire of the Lord. So, Sridhar Swami, he explains that embodied being of this material nature, they are wandering in this material world. He explains from the Shveta Upanishad, the Supreme Lord who is one without a second, is in the core of all living created beings. Indwelling monitor. Is indwelling monitor means we have monitors. Then also he quotes from Brid Aranyaka Upanishad. He explains that beginning Yah Sarveshu Bhuteshu Tistan states the super soul abides within all beings, yet he is different from all beings, whom beings do not know, whose creation all beings are, who controls all beings, who is the inner ruler of all beings, as well as the inner controller of all beings. How this is to be understood is inconceivable, but by his illusory energy known as Maya, all beings are revolving in the samsara, the perpetual cycle of birth and death, engaged in the myriad of activities. The jivas who identify with the physical body are kept revolving life after life in material existence. The jivas who identify with the Supreme Lord have the chance to transcend this by His grace. So here he has given very clear indication. Sridhar Swami, he explains those who don't surrender, so they have to again go into the same cycle of repeated birth and death. But those who agree to surrender unto the Supreme Lord, so then the Lord will take care of that living entity. So this way, here, just to conclude, we can understand the Lord explains how the Lord is accompanying the living entity in all the different species of life. Also, Bhagavad Gita 5:25, Krishna explains. Anyone knows what is 5:29? Ha, Bhoktaram Yajnatapsam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhrid Sarvadehinam Pyatma Mam Shantim Mrichati. Shanti means peace. So as long as we are in the material world, there will never be peace. And the modern politicians, what they say, अच्छे दिन आएंगे, good days will come. But that is not going to come. Anyway, uh, it's very difficult to know in the material world as long as we are there in the material world. So there will be always anxiety. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are good examples given by different personalities like Avdut Brahman. Even there is in the Avdut Brahman, there is one story of Pingala. What she explains, what she got from the this thing society, that bhaya, fear, lamentation. She has given five different these things. How in material world you never get any satisfaction. You are always in constant anxiety, fear. This way, material world this going around, and the living entity is transmigrating. But here, Krishna explains he is ready there to guide. Like what we see, Gajendra. He was fighting for how many years? Anyone knows? How many years he was fighting, Gajendra? Celestial years, I don't know. 1000 celestial years. Tesham samudhrata mrityu samsara sagara. So all the demigods, they were watching. They were thinking, why not he's calling us? So somehow Gajendra, he could recall his past and he offered one flower. So the Lord immediately rescued him. So yadi kare bahujanma punya shravan kirtan. Now today material world, anyone knows what is the present population of the material world? 200 countries. What's the population? 850 crores living, and especially mankind, humans, 200 countries. So India has the population of 140 crores. Among that, 120 they are Sanatan Dharma, Hindu Dharma followers. So amongst them, how many they are fully surrendered to the will of Lord? How many people they have read Bhagavad Gita? Oftentimes I ask some students. So out of maybe 50, maybe one I find one he has read Bhagavad Gita. So although we have distributed, anyone knows ISKCON has how many literatures were distributed so far in last 60 years? Yeah, 55 million, 55 crore. So we'll conclude here. So we have 5 minutes time. So anyone has any question, comment regarding this verse? 550 million. Yes, correct. Statistics. Yeah. So yes, Prabhu. No, no, we use brain, not thought. Brain. We use only 1% of our brain. No, actually, if you see the material scientists, especially astronomers, they don't know 99.9% what is there in the space. Earth has 75% water. They don't know 95% of the ocean, what is inside deep in the ocean. So they are just beating around the bush. They are the follower of whatever it is, Einstein or what do you say, theory of evolution, Darwin. So they are just speculating. They're just speculating. So Prabhupada said the hen is the best scientist because it lays an egg and it hatches a chick from that egg. So Prabhupada he said we should give that Nobel Prize to the hen, not to the this Nobel laureates, whatever it is. No, today they are trying to go through when every year there is a from creation to different things. There are different theories. Theories are there. So everyone is giving his own view. So recently somebody said no scientist has seen this electron, neutron, protons. What they say? No, no, they just imagine they are there. No one has seen. So if you go this molecular science, DNA, they are studying DNA. So they say now your body DNA is changing compared to your forefathers. So what did they say? Every 20 years our DNAs are changing because modern food what we are eating, like what our forefathers they ate, that was different about 100 years back. And now today what we are eating is completely different. We are eating packed food. So they give so many theories, whatever it is. I don't have much deep knowledge from the scripture, but Prabhupada quotes about the mind. Mana eva manusyanam karana bandha moksha. No, it is also mentioned that heart is the size of a fist, and the Paramatma also somewhere it is mentioned the size of fist, but also there is mentioned it is 10,000 part of the. So there are different descriptions of given the heart. Some they say it is like apparatus pumping. Yes, yes, Prabhu. Brain. Brain. Yeah, Ayurveda mentions. So Ayurveda mentions that heat goes from the head, heat out from our most of our body heat goes from the head. What they say, you should not completely cover the head. Okay, bro. Thank you. Okay, we'll wind up. Hare Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Krishna